If you've been dealing with stubborn belly fat, constant sugar cravings, or energy crashes that seem to come out of nowhere, your body may already be insulin resistant, years before a doctor ever uses the word diabetes. I'm Dr. Paul, and in 25 years of practice between chiropractic and functional nurse practitioner work, insulin resistance is one of the most common things I see get missed. Today, I'm going to walk you through 9 silent signs your body gives you before any labs flag it. If you appreciate this type of content, gently tap that like button and let's get into it right now. All right, first up, we've got stubborn belly fat that won't move no matter what you do. This is usually the first thing people notice, and it's also the one most people blame on diet or age. But there's a specific mechanism at play. When your cells stop responding well to insulin, your body pumps out more of it to compensate. And high circulating insulin literally signals your body to store fat, especially around the midsection. This isn't the same as normal weight gain. It tends to show up as a firmer, harder belly rather than a soft overall weight gain, and it often shows up even in people who are otherwise a healthy weight. I've had patients tell me they're eating the exact same way they did 10 years ago, and their waistline just keeps creeping up. That's usually not a willpower problem. That's usually an insulin problem. And it's exactly why treating this like a diet issue alone so often fails. It's a hormonal issue that diet can influence, but diet alone often cannot fix once the pattern is established. Next is going to be the constant sugar and carb cravings, especially in the afternoon or right after a meal. This one confuses people because it feels backwards. You just ate. Why are you craving something sweet 30 minutes later? Well, here's what's happening. When your cells resist insulin's signal, glucose has trouble getting into the cells where it's needed for energy. So even though your blood sugar might be technically fine or even high, your cells are functioning like they're starved. Your brain reads that as low fuel and sends out a craving for the fastest source of energy it knows, sugar and refined carbs. It's not a lack of discipline. It's your body's messaging system trying to solve a problem it's misreading. If you've ever felt like you're fighting your own brain over a candy bar an hour after lunch, that's often exactly what's happening. Now, this video would not be complete without the next one on the list. Energy crashes after meals, especially heavier or carb-heavy ones. You eat your lunch, and 45 minutes later, you're ready for a nap. This is sometimes called the post-meal crash. And it happens because your blood sugar spikes higher than it should after a meal. Your body way overshoots the insulin trying to bring it down. And then you crash into a low that leaves you foggy and drained. Over time, this cycle of spike and crash is a strong early indicator that your cells aren't handling glucose the way they should. If your energy chart for the day looks like a roller coaster tied directly to mealtimes, that's worth paying attention to. Drop a comment below with which of these signs you've noticed in yourself. I read every comment, and I might make a more detailed follow-up video on the ones people mention the most. And if you know someone who's been struggling with an unexplained fatigue or weight gain, share this video with them. It might be the thing that finally connects the dots for them. All right, next up we've got skin changes, specifically skin tags and darkened velvety patches of skin, usually on the neck, armpits, or in body creases. This condition has a real medical name, Acanthosis nigricans, and it's one of the most visible external signs that insulin levels are running high. High circulating insulin can stimulate skin cells to grow more than normal, which is what causes both the darkening and the small skin tags. I've had patients come in worried about a cosmetic skin issue who had no idea it was actually their body flagging a metabolic problem underneath. If you've noticed new skin tags showing up in the last year or so, or your skin that looks darker and slightly thicker in certain folds, that's worth mentioning to whoever is managing your care. Quick break. By the way, I put together a resource that breaks down exactly which lab markers actually catch insulin resistance early, since standard blood work often misses it until things have progressed further. You can grab that completely free by checking the description and the pinned comment below this video. Next on the list, you can't lose weight no matter how hard you try, even when you're doing everything right. This is one of the most frustrating signs because it directly contradicts what most people are told about weight loss, that it's simply calories in versus calories out. When insulin resistance is present, your body is in a hormonal state that actively favors fat storage over fat burning, regardless of how disciplined you are with food and exercise. I've worked with patients who are doing everything textbook correct, tracking food, exercising consistently, and still not seeing the scale move the way it should. That's not a discipline problem. That's usually a sign the hormonal environment needs to be addressed directly, not just the behaviors around it. Now, this next one shows up more in the brain than the body. Brain fog, trouble concentrating, feeling mentally slow, or losing your train of thought more than usual. Your brain runs almost entirely on glucose for fuel. And if your cells are resisting insulin's signal to let glucose in, your brain can be running on a reduced fuel supply, even when your blood sugar numbers look fine on paper. Patients often describe this as a feeling like they're thinking through fog or like their sharpness just isn't what it used to be. If that sounds familiar and it's been a gradual change rather than a one-off bad week, insulin resistance is worth ruling out. Next up, getting hungry again shortly after eating a full meal. If you finish a meal that should reasonably hold you for a few hours and you're hunting for food again within an hour or two, that's a signal worth noticing. Again, this comes back to glucose not making it efficiently into your cells. Your body senses that its cells are still hungry for fuel, even though you just ate, and it sends out hunger signals accordingly. This is different from just liking food or having a big appetite. It's a specific pattern of feeling unsatisfied and hungry again, unusually soon after eating. Quick break. If you don't want to grab that lab marker resource I mentioned earlier, I also want to mention I do see patients directly here in my practice for this exact issue, working through both the lifestyle side and the clinical side together. Leave a comment below if you'd like to find more about the practice. Next on the list, poor or restless sleep, especially waking up in the middle of the night. There's a two-way relationship between blood sugar regulation and sleep. When your cells resist insulin, your blood sugar can dip and swing overnight, and a dip in the blood sugar during the night can actually trigger your body to release stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to bring your glucose back up, which can wake you up or leave you restless. If you've noticed you're waking up around the same time every night, often between 2 and 4 in the morning, for no obvious reasons, blood sugar regulation is one of the first things I'd want to look at. And the last one on this list, hormonal shifts, irregular cycles, or worsening PCOS symptoms in women. And things like low energy, reduced motivation, or low libido in men that can point to a declining testosterone. Insulin resistance and sex hormone balance are deeply connected. High circulating insulin can disrupt ovulation and worsen conditions like PCOS in women. And in men, it's linked to low testosterone production. If you've noticed your cycle becoming less predictable, or if you're a man noticing symptoms that feel hormone-related, insulin resistance is frequently an overlooked piece of that puzzle. What's happening? In putting this video together, I wanted to give people a way to actually check for this instead of just describing it. So if several of these signs sounded familiar, that resource I mentioned with the specific lab markers to ask for is genuinely the most useful next step. And it's in the description and pinned comments below. So that's 9 silent signs your body may already be dealing with insulin resistance, even if your last set of blood work came back looking normal. Catching this early is so much easier than reversing it once it's progressed further. And if you want to understand how this connects to stubborn belly fat, especially after 40, I actually made a full video breaking down exactly why that happens and what to do about it. And you can check that out by clicking right here. Let's get to work.